who will now faces charges of sexual harassment and stalking. However, significantly, the police have told the court that the case under the stringent Protection of Children from Sexual Offences or POCSO Act should be dropped. They say that the father of the minor girl who had earlier accused Singh of sexually harassing his daughter has now withdrawn the case, claiming that it was a false case to begin with. This case will be heard by the court on the 4th of July. Remember, India's top wrestlers have been protesting against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh for months now, after 7 women wrestlers, including this minor girl, accused him of sexual harassment and demanding sexual favors from them. Following complaints of inaction by the police and the government, Union Sports Minister Anurag Thakur met with Olympic medal-winning wrestlers Bajrang Punia and Sakshi Malik last week and assured them that the probe into the case would be completed by the 15th of June. Following that assurance, the wrestlers suspended their protest. A special investigation team was set up and it questioned more than 180 people and filed 2 FIRs against the Wrestling Federation chief. There have been repeated allegations that Brij Bhushan, who is also a 6-time BJP MP, was being politically shielded and that the police have been dragging their feet in this case. The protesting wrestlers have been demanding his arrest and sacking as the federation boss for months now. Singh has not only denied all the charges but also alleged a conspiracy to malign him. The question now is this: does the dropping of the POCSO Act significantly weaken the case against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, who currently faces 17 other criminal cases, including those involving charges of murder, attempt to murder, kidnapping, rioting and theft? Will this bring relief to the man and deal a major blow to the wrestlers' campaign for justice? Under what circumstances did the father of the minor girl withdraw the case? Did the police allow Brij Bhushan too much time and freedom to tamper with the case and influence witnesses, as has been alleged by the wrestlers and their supporters? Where does the case go from here? Can the Delhi police present a strong enough case of sexual harassment against Singh? Will justice be delivered? What will the next move of the wrestlers be? Are they satisfied with the action of the Delhi police, or will they resume their protest? Has Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh been treated with kid gloves by the Delhi police?
In one FIR, we have filed the cancellation report before the Patiala House Court that has been ordered to be placed before the special judge on 4th of July. Here in this very Raujavani court, we have filed the charge sheet, and the charge sheet will be now placed before learned CMM Raujavani for further proceedings. Court to see from our side, since we have filed the charge sheet, so we have said yes, there are evidences, but it is ultimately the court, learned court, during the trial they will decide.
एक अवयस्क लड़की इतने बड़े आदमी के खिलाफ पॉक्सो की शिकायत दर्ज करती है, यौन शोषण का आरोप लगाती है, और फिर सारा तंत्र, सारी पुलिस, इस देश की सत्ता, इस देश की सरकार, सरकार के मंत्री, सरकार के सांसद मिलकर एक तरफ उस लड़की के खिलाफ खड़े हो जाते हैं और संरक्षण ब्रिज भूषण शरण सिंह को दिया जाता है और उस लड़की को गलत साबित करने पर लोग तुल जाते हैं। सारा तंत्र एक तरफ है और उसके बाद उसके पिता के हवाले से वो बयान वापस ले लिया जाता है। यह देश की जनता तय करे कि क्या प्रभाव के तहत यह किया गया, क्या सत्ता का दुरुपयोग किया गया, क्या सारा तंत्र एक आदमी को बचा रहा था। क्योंकि अब एक बात साफ है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी का जो नारा है बेटी बचाओ बेटी पढ़ाओ, वो है बेटी डराओ और ब्रजभूषण बचाओ। पूरी तरह से यह बात साफ तौर से अंकित हो चुकी है। मैं आपसे पूछना चाहती हूं, पॉक्सो का जब गंभीर आरोप किसी के खिलाफ लगता है तो तुरंत कार्रवाई की मांग होती है और वो कार्रवाई होती है तुरंत हिरासत में लिया जाए। 45 दिन तक ब्रिजभूषण शरण सिंह से पूछताछ तक नहीं करती दिल्ली पुलिस। दिल्ली पुलिस एफआईआर तब दर्ज करती है जब सुप्रीम कोर्ट हस्तक्षेप करता है। दिल्ली पुलिस हिरासत में नहीं लेती, पूछताछ नहीं करती, एक बाहुबली व्यक्ति है, इसको आजाद घूमने और छोड़ दिया जाता है कि ये जाए और किसी भी विटनेस को टैंपर करे, किसी भी विक्टिम को डराए, कोई पूछताछ नहीं है। ये मीडिया में इंटरव्यू देके मेडल को 15-15 रुपए का बताते हैं। ये मीडिया में इंटरव्यू देके गुड टच और बैड टच की बातें करते हैं। ये अपनी शक्ति का प्रदर्शन रैलियों में करते हैं, लेकिन दिल्ली पुलिस 45 दिन तक आरोपी से, और इतने गंभीर आरोपी से, पूछताछ नहीं करती।
All right. So, strong criticism being leveled there by the Congress party, which is lashing out at both the Delhi police and the BJP-led central government, accusing them both of shielding Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. Why has the POCSO case against the man been dropped is the biggest question that is being asked today. Let me go across to my guests. At this moment, I'm joined by Jagvati Sangwan, former Indian volleyball player. We'll also be joined in a moment by Abha Singh, lawyer and activist, and Sunita Godra, former marathon runner. Jagvati Sangwan ji, welcome back. Ma'am, you've been on this channel. You and I have done multiple shows together discussing Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh and the serious allegations against him. What are your thoughts today, ma'am, on a day when the Delhi police, which have of course drawn a lot of criticism for dragging their feet in this case, have finally filed a charge sheet, accused the man, or rather charged the man with sexual harassment and stalking, but very significantly dropped the POCSO case against him? Questions are bound to be asked about the circumstances under which the father of this minor girl withdrew the case against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. There are people like the Congress party spokesperson there who are saying, was pressure applied? Were there threats involved? Was there intimidation?
Yes. Here in this case, Neha, we are observing since initial stage that Brij Bhushan has been given the political patronage at every level. And what has happened today, it is the failure of state and its justice delivery agencies to give justice to the daughters of this country. Actually, these agencies and state has betrayed with the wrestlers and complainants, and they have all through given protection and all type of timings, and we can say in the form of Delhi police, they have facilitated the accused to protect himself from the punishment. And at the initial stage, as I said, there was no internal complaints committee. Then the wrestlers in January, they were on dharna, and then the oversight committee was constituted. But the oversight committee also did not follow the norms and rules of the functioning of these committees, and stipulated time was over. No report was shown to the wrestlers, and they did not take even their calls. They have told to the public at last. And then when they decided to lodge the FIR, the Delhi police denied to register the FIR itself, and Supreme Court had to intervene on that. After that, when wrestlers were there on dharna, every day police atrocities were going on against them without any indiscipline or some type of violation from their side. And sufficient time was given to Brij Bhushan Sharan to pressurize the family of that minor girl, to threaten them, to target them, and to follow them to the point that after 30 days, they registered a lot. The poor family, they registered a lot, this pressure and threats. But you see, the whole tantra, as my earlier speaker said, whole tantra was bent upon to break up this minor girl's family witness, and ultimately they succeeded to some extent. But yes, maybe the POCSO has been dropped, but the Delhi police would have to justify in front of
That is
the
an important
judicial
point you're
process.
making, because the court will hear this particular case on the 4th of July. The Delhi police have filed an application seeking cancellation of the POCSO case. Now we'll have to wait and see what view the court takes. The final decision, you're absolutely right, rests with the court. But ma'am, if I've understood you correctly, are you saying you do believe that the minor girl and her family may have been threatened and intimidated, and the pressure is what has resulted in the father withdrawing the case? Is that what you truly believe?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have been observing all the happenings going on every day over there, and the poor father and his family, they have undergone a very painful process. He himself has narrated in front of media also that we tried our best to bring out the justice to in public arena, but at the same time I want to live. I don't want to die. I have my family to look after. So huge sort of pressure, threatening, and every type of threats, like consequences of his being witness in the case. We have been observing it day in and day out.
All right. So you are saying the intimidation has been quite evident in this case. Let me now introduce Abha Singh, lawyer and activist, who also joins us on the show at this point. Abha Singh, let me ask you this. Needless to say that questions are being asked today about whether the minor girl and her family were pressurized, threatened, intimidated by the accused, and could that have resulted in the father withdrawing the case against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh? At the same time, ma'am, from the legal standpoint, do you believe the dropping of the POCSO case against Brij Bhushan, even though the final decision rests with the court, but the Delhi police are clear there is no POCSO case against him, does this significantly weaken the case against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh? Do you think this deals a blow to the wrestler's campaign for justice?
You know, Delhi police from day one has been under pressure. The very fact that they registered the FIR only after the orders of the Supreme Court, we can clearly see that the Delhi police was under pressure. And today when they file a charge sheet saying that no case is made out, here I would like to say two things. The girl's father may have given a supplementary statement, but that does not deny the fact that that offense happened. It is for the trial court to decide which statement to look into, and then to decide whether the offense, the child was subjected to a sexual offense or not. Secondly, what is important here is that these cases, the police should have gone into detail. But with the political pressure and all, they have played safe, and this is an election year. But still, there is hope, because under 173A of the CRPC, these women wrestlers, the family of these wrestlers, they can file a protest petition in the magistrate court of that jurisdiction and say that we do not go by the charge sheet and a case should be further investigated. They can always demand further investigation. But I can say, when this was going on, this protest, and the manner in which Delhi police handled the wrestlers, the way they pushed them from there, dragged them, I was expecting this. This is very much on the expected lines, that they would say that the charges are not proved. But again, the father giving a subsequent statement does not dilute the offense. It does not deny that sexual offense, the POCSO offense under POCSO happened.
Okay. Now, ma'am, as we know, the court is going to take up this matter on the 4th of July. That is when we know what view the court is going to take of the Delhi police's application seeking cancellation of the POCSO case. But if I may ask you, ma'am, if you could put this into perspective for our viewers, you know, if the wrestlers say that the father has withdrawn this, his initial statement and the case of sexual harassment against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh under duress. How exactly do you prove in a court of law that pressure was applied, there may have been threats and intimidation? Of course, it's another matter that the man who faced POCSO charges until yesterday was not only roaming free, but in, at political rallies, he was actually issuing threatening statements, targeting these wrestlers, even subjecting them to character assassination. We've all seen that. And the man had the audacity to even say the POCSO Act needs to be amended. This is the accused in the case. But how do you prove something like this, ma'am, in a court of law? 1 and 2, if the POCSO case indeed goes and we are left with only a case of sexual harassment and stalking, what's the maximum punishment that this man can face? And again, the question that arises is, how difficult, according to you, is it to prove a case of sexual harassment in court?
Neha, if you see charges of rape also, the conviction in rape cases as per NCRB figures is barely 29%. So in rape cases, when there is a difficulty in proving the charges and the rapist goes scot-free, then when these sexual harassment and molestation, they stand very slight chance. But here there were not 1, 2, there were 6 wrestlers, 7 wrestlers who had come up, and they had evidences that it had happened not only in India but also on foreign soil. So if the case is built properly, I'm sure it can stand in the court of law, and it would they would have enough evidence to prove their case. But the father changing his statement, he has not changed his statement. He has given a supplementary statement, a second statement under 164 before the magistrate. So it is for the trial court to decide which statement to take, to check the veracity of the evidences, and then give a judgment. So Delhi police has only played one part. I absolutely agree with you, and with what the masses feel, that the father must have been under stress, because the manner in which the supporters of Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh have been threatening the government. They've been saying that the community is annoyed and he's going to contest elections, and doing all those demonstrations, clearly trying to take their pound of flesh, because this is the election year. And I am told Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh holds sway over not only his constituency, but almost 10 constituencies in eastern UP. He can affect 10 MP seats in Uttar Pradesh, and that is why the government has been going slow. A government which has talked of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao has kept quiet, has dragged the wrestlers. So definitely the father has been under pressure. But yes, if the, when we go in a court and we try to prove a charge, we have to build the case on what date it happened, what evidences we had, what is the circumstantial evidence. If there is no circumstantial evidence, then there is corroborative evidence. So these things will be required to be built up in the court, and the manner in which these wrestlers have stuck to their guns, I am sure they would be victorious in the court of law. Today is just one setback, but I am sure the battle will be theirs.
Let's certainly hope so, ma'am, because you're quite right. Not only have they stood their ground, let's face it, these are India's top wrestlers who have put their careers on the line. And this man and his supporters would have us believe that India's Olympic champions have conspired to tarnish his image. That is what Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh has been claiming. But I think it is very clear who the people of India believe. Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh or these wrestlers, the champions of this country. Let me now go across to Sunita Godara, former marathon runner, who joins us on the phone line. Sunita Godara, your first thoughts on today's developments. On the one hand, there is a charge sheet that says that Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh will face charges of sexual harassment and stalking. That is a win for the wrestlers to some extent. But on the other hand, the Delhi police say no POCSO case is made out against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. They are citing the example, or rather the case, of the father of the minor girl who decided to withdraw the charges. Many, of course, are wondering if this has been done under pressure. But where does the case go from here? Are you satisfied with the action of the Delhi police?
See, the law is taking its own course. Police is, earlier they mishandled with the wrestlers, all the Olympic champions and all, and now delaying. So justice delayed is justice denied. witnesses, the victims, they become hostile, which is happening in this case, because of loose ropes and all these things. Now, the only solution was in the hand of Sports Ministry and Indian Olympic Association. International Olympic Committee has given them notice that what are you doing? This is very bad, what is happening with the Olympic champions. And they are mentioning about Sports Ethics Commission, the legal panel of inside house. We don't have any redressal system in sports. We don't have any complaint bodies. We don't have sexual harassment committees in place working properly. So if there was a legal panel which has retired judge and two eminent persons, the only punishment which sports can give, Sports Ethics Commission can give, faster, 10 times faster than the courts and 100 times easier. They don't need any other evidence like police is taking evidence and 120 or 200 plus witnesses and all. There only these channels where Brij Bhushan is every day doing misconduct, professional misconduct by saying 15 rupees ka Olympic medal, by saying mantra to these Olympic stalwarts. The way he's now shouting that main ladunga, main ladunga, main ladunga. Why? Have you seen any politician shouting that main ladunga 24 May? No. He's shouting because he has got all the allegations. So what, POCSO has become weak because of the father's evidence or whatever. See, I'm not going into the legalities of that. But there are 6 more girls who have put charges and there are molestation charges on him. So that is good enough to punish him, but it will take time. But our legal panel, if it is in place, which 3rd May I wrote to Mr. Anurag Thakur, the sports minister. 10th May I got a reply on 14th. 10th May again I sent the reminder. Please make your legal panel and just bar this person from sports for life, because the evidences which we are seeing in these 5 months, whatever Brij Bhushan is doing, that is professional misconduct, and he should not be in the sports arena for life. He and his aides, those who are helping him, those who are supporting him, all should be banned from sports. That is what our sports law says, our Olympic Charter says. And it is happening in 203 countries, not only in India. India has signed Olympic Charter. India has signed IOC. They have UN Commission. Everywhere it is live ban from sports if you don't have a sportsman spirit or you do any misconduct, whether it is athlete or sports official or federation people. So he should have been barred 12 years back, if we had legal panel in place. Now also, if the sports ministry makes it, Indian Olympic Association can take suo motu action and bar him from sports. They have that power. They don't have power to put him in the jail, but they have power to bar him from the sports. Now this man, we have to do shaming, for this man. He should be ashamed of what he is doing.
But
so
again, the problem is, ma'am, that, unfortunately, it is far from enough to shame such people. Because if he really had to be shamed, it would have happened by now. We've seen the conduct of the man. I mean, somebody who faces grievous charges of sexual harassment by 7 women wrestlers goes around publicly intimidating these women and claiming that the POCSO Act needs to be amended. He has mocked these women. He has thrown jibes at them. He has issued threatening statements publicly. And accused them of being part of a political conspiracy. That's been the conduct of the man.
See, this issue can only be resolved by a sports commission, which we don't have in place in India. We are missing structural, proper commissions, legal panels, like NADA, like military law. All military officers don't go to court. First, they go to their military court, and that is in-house. In-house, if we have proper redressal system, then the girls don't have to go to Jantar Mantar. Girls don't have to go to High Court first, Supreme Court. First, they will go to their redressal court, which is like a tribunal court, but that's the problem. And I've been for 30 years. Now, at least first time on 14th of May, I got a
All right, ma'am, we'll come back to you in a moment. Let me go back to Jagmati Sangwan at this point. Ma'am, of course, Sunita Godra is right when she talks about the need for an ethics committee, the need for a sports commission, but that is something that can only happen in the future. What about the case that's before us today? The question I want to ask you, ma'am, is twofold. Number one, do you believe the dropping of the POCSO case, if at all the court does in the end agree with the Delhi police, will deal a huge blow to the restless campaign for justice? Will it significantly weaken the case against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh, number one? Number two, are you still hopeful that with the sexual harassment and stalking cases against him, justice may still be delivered at the end of the day? What is your take? Because today, I think, has been a very mixed day for all of you.
Yes, Neha, for the time being, it is a blow to the fight of these wrestlers for justice and other people who were supporting them. For the time being, definitely it is like that. But we believe in law and order and justice delivery system of this country. Ultimately, the things will come up again. The Delhi police, they cannot draw. They can रद्द तो कर सकते हैं कंप्लेंट को, लेकिन केस को withdraw नहीं कर सकते.
Okay, Jagmati Sangwan, please give me a moment, ma'am. We seem to be having an issue with your audio. We'll fix it and come back to you. Abha Singh, let me come back to you this stage. For weeks now, if not months, we've been debating on this channel why the Delhi police have treated Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh with kid gloves. While today they may have told the court that there is no POCSO case made out against the man, and we'll have to wait and see what view the court takes. Ma'am, would you not agree as a seasoned lawyer that had Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh been an ordinary man and not a six-time MP belonging to the ruling party, not the Wrestling Federation chief, with a POCSO case against him, he would have been arrested by the Delhi police a long time ago. And here you have a situation where for 45 days, the police did not even deem it fit to interrogate him, leave alone arrest him.
Absolutely right. Had it been a commoner, he would have been arrested behind bars, because the offences in POCSO Act, especially in aggravated sexual offences, more than 10 years. In fact, it entails at times 20 years and life imprisonment. Also, not one, there were 6, 7 complaints. So after that, in fact, from day one, my stand was, okay, Delhi police, if you feel no sexual harassment had taken place, you file a closure. But they were not even ready to register an FIR. They did not call Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh for taking his statement even once. So we can clearly say that Delhi police hands were tied. And why they were tied, we all know in that how police is answerable to their political masters. And that is why this has happened. And I would request the court, when this charge sheet goes before the Supreme Court, even then the judges can look into it. And when a protest petition is filed, they can reorder the inquiry. And I would like, so many times in cases from Gujarat, they've been transferred to Maharashtra for inquiry. I think this case needs to be taken out of Delhi police and given to another state. I would say, why not West Bengal? Why not some other police? Because the faith of the people in the land in the constitution has to be restored. The faith of the people in the government has to be restored, because women of this country are devastated, and not only women, the fathers, the brothers, and the sisters are also devastated, because here these medal holders, these girls of gutsy women were standing on protest, and they gave actions where it happened, how it happened. After giving all that, if today the Delhi police says that it did not happen, I think it's a little too soon.
Ma'am, while of course, we are never going to see, I think you and I can be pretty sure, the case being handed over to any other agency. But at the end of the day, you're right. This case, and I've been saying this from the very beginning, isn't just about these 7 women who obviously are national heroes and champions. I mean, they have competed for India, won medals for India. But this is a larger case which, in a sense, tells us whether the women of this country can expect justice, especially when they are up against a powerful man. Clearly, here is somebody who has been a member of parliament for 6 terms. As you rightly pointed out, he is believed to have a lot of political clout in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Next year we have the general election. He has shamelessly continued as the Wrestling Federation chief, refusing to step aside, refusing to resign from the post despite facing such serious allegations. Given the conduct of the Delhi police, how they refused to even interrogate him for the longest time, questions have been asked about whether there is any hope for ordinary women seeking justice in a sexual harassment case, considering that these are the country's top wrestlers. I mean, you will agree, ma'am, that if on the one hand the accused is a very powerful man, on the other hand, the accusers are not ordinary women either. These are national heroes. These are champions who've won medals for India. You know, some of them are Olympians. And if these people can be treated in the manner that they have by the Delhi police, the larger question really is, what hope is there for the ordinary women in this country?
Neha, you know, I am just one dictum which always guides me is, howsoever high you are, the law is always above you. So he may have won the first round because the Delhi police has succumbed, but I still have faith in the law of this land. I have faith in the judiciary. And you are very right when you say that these girls are heroes. But who are they taking on? They are taking on the government, because he is part of the ruling government of the country, and that is why they've not got justice. But let me tell you, a crime is a crime, and not today, it will go for generations. Tomorrow also, some other time, they can again come back. You know, there would be evidences. They can keep coming to the court and again, as I said, the protest petition. And definitely that is the reason why Me Too movement happened in India, why women kept silent. For 20 years, women have faced harassment, but they did not speak out. But at least salute, hats off to these gutsy girls who had the courage to speak up. And definitely it disheartens the millions of girls and women of this country that if these powerful women could not get justice, how would a lesser mortal, a person who's unknown, who doesn't have a medal, who doesn't have a background, how will she get justice? That is the reason so many times women have kept quiet. They have faced sexual harassment and they have kept quiet. Also, it exposes that the law, the Sexual Harassment at Workplace Act, that is just in name. There are no ICCs, there are no internal complaint committees who can actually give a statement, because you must be knowing that in the private sector, even the ICC members, their jobs are not permanent, they can be terminated, and there are so many cases where ICC members have kept quiet. So I think now we need to revisit the sexual harassment at workplace law, because this exposes that women are sexually harassed at their workplaces, and even after the Vishakha guidelines and the act, there much needs to be done.
You know, I'm so glad you are talking about this. Of course, this is not unique to India. This, unfortunately, is a phenomenon that exists all around the world. Just today, Abha Singh, if I could get your thoughts on this before I go back to Jagmati Sangwan and Sunita Godhra. Just today, a video of an Australian member of parliament has gone viral. She was speaking on the floor of the Australian parliament, and she broke down saying she had faced sexual assault at the hands of fellow parliamentarians and some very powerful men in that very building, in the parliament building, which we in India refer to as the temple of democracy. Now imagine what the women of this world are up against. This is a member of parliament breaking down in parliament, saying she has been sexually assaulted in that very building, and coming back to India. You know, so much hope had been expressed after the laws were changed, the anti-rape laws were changed following the Nirbhaya case. Or when the Me Too movement took off in India, people thought that sexual harassment cases would be taken more seriously. But frankly, ma'am, has anything changed?
You know, the only change that has happened is that at least I would salute the women of not only this country but the world over, that they are speaking out. They don't feel shame. They feel sexual harassment is a crime and it should be treated as a crime. It should be the perpetrator of sexual harassment who should be ashamed, should be shamed, but not the victim. So that at least is the change which has happened. But yes, if a member of parliament in a foreign land, in a foreign country is also sexually assaulted in the parliament, this clearly shows that women world over are facing sexual harassment. In fact, there are many studies which say that 1 in every 3 women has faced sexual abuse or sexual assault. So that is the state of affairs. Our laws, not only in India, but world over, they've been unable to protect women, and women have kept quiet. Why? Primarily, either they lose their jobs or they don't get support at home. And those who are getting support at home, you have, then the system is not supporting them. Can you see in such a brutal manner these wrestlers are being pushed, what you're running on the channel? I mean, it breaks my heart to think that these heroes who got us medals, who got us respect on the international level, are being pushed like this by the police. But I would say we should hang our heads in shame that rather than giving them justice, and these cops, these men in uniform, they have the public to answer. I don't know why they are scared. They have a job which will be 30 years with them. These politicians will come and go. They are barely there for 5 years. They are responsible to the constitution. They are answerable to the constitution of the land. They are not answerable to the MPs and MLAs. The day the Indian police realizes this, I'm sure we would be closer to justice.
Well, let's certainly hope, ma'am, that something changes, because something has got to change. Women have faced this for far too long. This is 2023 and we are sitting here and discussing the case of India's top medal winning wrestlers having to fight on the streets for justice because they are up against a powerful man who also happens to be a politician. Let me go back to Jagmati Sangwan and Sunita Godra at this point. Jagmati Sangwan, where does the case go from here? You know, there has been silence so far from the protesting wrestlers. They had suspended their protest till today. Now, we don't know what their next course of action will be. I don't know if you can speak on their behalf. Are they likely to be satisfied with the action taken by the Delhi police? Or do you believe that they will be extremely disappointed with the dropping of the POCSO case and the protest could in fact resume? What do you think, ma'am? We've not heard from these wrestlers yet.
You see, the wrestlers, they are meeting today and they will decide about future course. And at the same time, yes, this is very disappointing what has happened today. But what we see, the pattern of dealing with sexual assault cases of this present government is everywhere like this. Whenever there is a BJP leader or a person from their party, what we saw in Haryana, Sandeep Singh, the sports minister, who was accused of assaulting international athlete and junior coach. There also, the government, although the Chandigarh police, they have lodged the FIR in non-bailable sections, but the Chief Minister of Haryana, when the opposition raised the demand of his arrest in assembly, the Chief Minister of Haryana, beating the table, said, "Nahi arrest karenge, nahi arrest करेंगे, नहीं अरेस्ट करेंगे। और आज तक उन्होंने चार्जशीट तक दाखिल नहीं की। 7 महीने गुजर गए वहाँ पे हरियाणा में। And what the chairperson of Women Commission said that I have talked to Minister Ji for 2 hours, and after discussing with him, I don't believe the charges which have been put on him by this girl. And the Chief Minister, without going into any investigation, in a public meeting in Sonipat said, किसी लड़की ने अनर्गल आरोप लगाए हैं, ऐसे मंत्री थोड़ी हटाए जाते हैं। So everywhere the dignity of women is nothing for these BJP people. Only their own ministers, only on their own member parliament like Brij Bhushan, who have a very criminal record, who has still 38 cases against him. They want to protect only them, and they should. We want to warn them that the whole nation, and particularly the women of this country, they are observing their acts. What is their commitment towards the sexual harassment at the workplace? Yesterday we hold a Mahila Panchayat in Delhi in Constitution Club, and there were women from every walk of life, those who matter in this country, and they were so angry with this present government that they were actually most of them were the leaders of the agitation for the enactment of this law, POSH and POCSO, etc. And now how they are blatantly violating every part of these laws and the spirit of law. They all are really concerned about it, and the consequences this government is going to face. After all, every family has daughters, every family has women in this country. If it can happen to the Olympians, then what about the ordinary common people and to their daughters and to their women? And at the same time, the fight at the level of legal court will be fought with all seriousness, with all weight from justice-loving people of this country. And they should not think that with the dropping of POCSO, the matter is over. No. We have fought against DGP Rathore in Ruchika Girotra case for 19 years, and ultimately he had to go to jail, and he proved a criminal. So this government also, if they have any regard for the laws which have been enacted for upliftment of women of this country to protect their dignity, they should in some way show some commitment towards giving justice to these wrestlers and their supporters.
Okay. All right. Sunita Godra, last word to you. Where do you see this case moving? This case is now before a court in Delhi. On the 4th of July, we will know whether the court accepts the argument or the plea made by the Delhi police that the POCSO case against Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh should be dropped. Given today's developments, do you think it is a positive step as far as the wrestlers' campaign for justice is concerned, or have the Delhi police actually given relief to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh? Sunita ji, can you hear me? Okay, Abha Singh, I'll give you the last word. Like I said, it's been a mixed day for those who've been fighting for justice in this case. How do you perceive this development? Is this a win and a positive step in the right direction as far as these women's campaign for justice goes, or do you believe that the Delhi police have actually given significant relief to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh by dropping the POCSO case?
The Delhi police have absolutely, they have really given relief to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. But let me tell you, the courts have the liberty when this matter comes up on hearing on 4th July, the judges can call that minor and in their chamber, they can ask her what actually happened. Nothing stops the judge, because in the interest of justice, the Constitution again and again says that procedures should not be the handmaid of justice. It is justice which should prevail, and justice has to be meted out. So the trial court judge can call that minor and ask her, without these people being present, that what was actually the position that they can take the last call. But yes, by giving a clean sheet to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh in the POCSO case, Delhi police has really blessed him with freedom. They have really given him a clean sheet.
You believe this is nearly a clean sheet given by the Delhi police to Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh. A very strong statement there made by you, Abha Singh. On that note, I'd like to thank all our guests for joining us on the show. Remember, here at News9 Live, this is a story we'll continue to track very, very closely. Have the Delhi police given relief to this man who's been accused of sexual harassment by 7 women wrestlers of this country? Where does the case go from here? Is there going to be justice for these women at the end of the day? Well, the entire country is watching this case. That's the wrap.
3, 2, 1, now.
It's stealthy, lethal and precise. The BrahMos kills warships.